Okay, so today I'm going to talk about injuries that we get from bodybuilding. And the reason why I'm speaking about that today is because, recently me and my training partners have suffered quite a bit from injuries. I've been quite lucky up to the age of about 40, where in actual fact I haven't had anything major, just niggles. But as I've hit 40, them niggles have become a lot more. Basically it's knees, back. They're the sort of the main two really, mainly from squatting and doing legs. Tendonitis occasionally, sort of like on the, around the arm. But really, it's mainly lower back and knees. So what do we do? Over the years, I've seen many different, massagers. They've seen me, and some of them have been good, and some of them have been bad. The problem is with these is they see you and they take your money and they massage the area, and then you leave and they say, well, I'll see you next Monday. You go back next Monday, they do the same again. And the problem is, does it really work? I think if it's a good one, what you need to do is assess and make sure you know what the injury is. And what I mean by that is, I had a friend who detached his tendon there on the shoulder, and no massaging in the world is going to reattach that tendon. So you can keep massaging it all you want. At the end of the day, it needs to be reattached. So that's the problem. So if you see a good one, they'll do whatever it takes, and if they can't do it, they're going to tell you they can't do it. As where you get some that will just massage it regardless, and that's no good. In fact, in a lot of cases, it can make it worse and irritate the area more. So I'm very fortunate now that I've got one that I see that will help me. But only if it's muscular, or if it's tendons, etc. And that. But if it's an injury that's that he can't do, that needs to be looked at, say, maybe if I have to go to the hospital or something, then obviously he'll tell me, and I'll go from there. But as far as the knee's concerned, the knees are a very, very painful area. We've got like the patella tendon that sort of lets get overstretched. That gets really painful. The quadricep, tendon that's above the knee, that's very, very sore. Mainly that comes from squatting. I've sort of got it really from hack squatting. Maybe not quite, the plate not quite in the right position, which I'm going to get readjusted, because it's just causing a lot of pain on the top part of the knee. So sometimes the equipment that you can use doesn't suit everyone. If you're tall or short and you go in certain pieces of equipment, it can sort of irritate and cause an injury. So you've got to make sure you're comfortable, in the equipment. So we kept on going heavy, and obviously the knees, it took its toll to the point where we sort of really can't do that particular exercise anymore. So we've had to go on to other things just to give it a bit of a rest. And what things can we do really to help? If it's like that, I tend to, before I train, I think it's important to warm them up. I tend to put deep heat on my knees, and I do loads of leg extensions to make sure that I warm the knee up. Also, their massage guns are very, very good. I don't really believe in all of that, but I sort of got it, give it a go. And, lightly around the leg, before you train, and around the knee can sort of like help. A little bit of stretching, obviously, which is something in the past that I haven't really done enough of, and that's probably why, I tend to sort of get injured a little bit more now. So things you can do before you train: make sure you're fully warm, and then obviously you can you can train. And afterwards, I tend to go home. If you are injured, I've been told really ice is the best thing. But then, a bit later on in the day, I like to sort of have a hot bath and just soothe, my muscle, and that seems to help. And then obviously then I go to bed, and it seems to be a little bit better. The lower back, I've had a lot of lower back problems, mainly I think through squatting. Over the years, it just takes its toll. And I went to a back specialist, and I had like facet joint injections to relieve sort of like inflammation that was sort of like sitting on the back, but it didn't really help. And the only thing I could really do was just stop squatting, which was a shame, because I do enjoy squatting. But since I stopped squatting, the back just got better and better and better, to the point now where I'm actually going to squat again, but I'm just not going to do what I did before, where I'm going to start with squats and just go super heavy. I'm sort of going to finish with squats and do sort of like reps, and by finishing with them, I won't need to go so heavy. So therefore, injuries are going to probably be a lot less. That's the problem, I think, going in cold and squatting. And if I look back, when I originally hurt my back, it was cold, very, very cold in the gym, and we decided that we were going to squat first. And I was actually going to go on holiday the next day, and we squatted really heavy. I wanted to get a good one in before I went away, and I felt it, and I got on the plane and I could feel that back, and it was never really the same again. So, you know, one bad session of just not warming up enough can cause years of misery. So that's why it's very, very important that, you know, every single workout you do, that you you know, you concentrate, make sure you're warmed up. Don't just be complacent and go in there and just, you know, because, you know, you've got a lot to lose from one workout but not a lot to gain. I've always told that, you know, and that's why when we get close to shows, it's very important to you know, you don't need to go silly heavy. You know, that's why you see a lot of bodybuilders just repping out. It's not really because they can't go heavy. It's just not worth it, because if you get an injury after 20 weeks plus dieting and injure yourself, then it's all that for nothing. So no real need to go silly towards the end. But during the diet that I've had here, I would say I'm as strong now as what I was at the beginning, which is good. That means that, you know, I don't think I've lost any muscle. If anything, I think I've gained a bit of muscle. But throughout this diet, I've had a lot of injuries. I tear I say tear, it's more of a bad pull on the hamstring many times. It sort of bruises up. You know, so hamstrings I tend to get quite a bit injuries from. So I sort of have to get them massaged, get the lower back massaged, and also, you know, knee pain, you know, which can be very, very sore, you know, indeed. So when you see my videos and you see me training, now I really would like not to use the wraps, but to be honest with you, unless I use a light wrap to start, the pain, it's too much. It just takes that edge away off the pain a little bit. I don't really want to use the wraps to assist me in any way. You know, it's not because I want to make the exercise easier by putting wraps on. And that's why you'll see I sort of use a very, very light wrap, really, just to sort of give the knee a little bit of security. Do you know what I mean? And then if I go super heavy, obviously I use a different type of wrap which has got a little bit more tension on it, you know what I mean, to sort of keep the knee you know, together, because I've owned a few gyms, and like I said, I've seen some terrible injuries, and once you've seen them, it's very difficult after that to, you know, it's in your head. So after seeing that, I do tend to wrap my knees. Like I said, it might help you a little bit to lift a bit more by wrapping them, but I'd rather be safe. You know, I've got nothing to prove. You know, we're bodybuilding at the end of the day, and I'm trying to build my legs up, and you know, if I feel that going a few inches deeper is going to injure me, then I can't go as deep. It's as simple as that. You just have to do what you can, you know. That's all you can do. So maybe I don't go as deep as I should. Maybe I use wraps, but it's better to do that than nothing. You know, I do my best. And like I said, as I've got older, the injuries have become more, you know, and it's quite frustrating, because mentally I want to do it, but physically my body's not quite allowing me to. But I'm hanging in there. So, you know, as long as you keep getting them massages done and stretching and making sure you warm up, and that's why even on leg extensions, like I said, 100 reps to start, really light, just warm up them knees, put deep heat on them. You know, don't start going heavy until you're sure that they're absolutely warm. And as I said, the lower back, if you're getting a lot of lower back problems, you know, Dorian proved that you can still get massive legs from not squatting. You know, choose other exercises. There's no point continually trying. If it's causing you pain, it's causing you pain. It's not going to get any better. If a certain exercise is causing you too much pain, you're just going to have to stop and use other pieces of equipment. I mean, you know, obviously bench and squats and these compound movements and deadlifts are great, but you know, it's like with the deadlifts, they can cause a lot of trouble as well, you know, on the lower back. I had to stop deadlifting and squatting, and like I said, I've just started again, and you know, I get them niggles, you know, from even the deadlifts and that. It's nice to deadlift and it's nice to squat, to test yourself, you know, to put some weight on there and to feel strong. But like I said, if it's going to give you injuries, there's really no point. So at the moment I'm going to do them exercises, but if I start feeling it's taking its toll too much and I'm getting injured again, then I'm going to have to pull them. But I'm going to try and sort of get back into it the best I can. But I think I'm going to end up you know, doing squats last. Simply, I just don't think I'm going to be able to go back to going super heavy again, because I just think now the chances are, if I injure myself badly now, that'd probably be the end, because as you get older, you just don't recover as easy. So a bit of advice on this: if you're going to see someone for a massage, you know, don't let them just take your money week in, week out. Make sure you see someone who's got your best interests at heart. Identify the actual injury. Don't just go there, you know, getting massages done and aimlessly getting them done and just going in once a week and paying your money. Make sure you know what the injury is. Make sure that you know, you're going to benefit from that massage, because you know, otherwise you just, I mean, I went for one to see someone once for about a year. Just spent a fortune, but the injury was still there. I mean, it just wasn't getting any better. I mean, it was just a waste of money. Although the guy, you know, the guy I see now, I only have to see him a couple of times, and it definitely feels better. You know, if I've got problems around the shoulder and I get a good massage and that loosen it up, I feel like my benching's better, and it definitely does help. You know. And he phones me up the next day to check if I'm all right and that, you know, and he'll only do the massage again when the time is right. It might be 3 days later, it might be 10 days later, you know. It doesn't have to be a week, you know. It's like they book you in a week later and you go once a week. It's just, it doesn't work that way, you know. If you see someone who's good, you need to go when you need to go, you know. So be careful who you see, and make sure you identify the injury. And if you are seriously injured, you know, you must accept that sometimes the best thing you can do is rest. You know, you always get told to rest. You know, you can't beat rest. But for a bodybuilder, unfortunately, if you were to rest every time you had a niggle or an injury, you'd probably never train. So the thing is, sometimes you have to work around them, and that's what we do. We still train, we do get pains, we do get niggles. I tell my training partners that, you know what, it's just part of the game. You have to accept that, you know, you're going to be, while you're doing this, you're always going to get some niggles, you know, whether it be in the knee, back, the elbow, wherever. So you just have to accept that, and you just have to sort of get used to it and work around it and learn how to sort of like alleviate. And sometimes you have to wear, you know, straps and do what you can to sort of like continue your training to the best that you can. But yeah, hopefully nobody gets injured too badly. You know, you've got to do your best to sort of like try and avoid it, but you've got to remember, every time you train, there's always that element of risk that you can injure yourself. And that's why it's very important that you concentrate on what you're doing, and don't be complacent. The weights will always win in the end. So you've got to make sure that, you know, you give them the respect that they deserve. So yes, good luck, and we'll speak very soon. And if you want to subscribe, then do so onto this channel for more videos. And if you are interested in any of the SNC supplements, then go on uksnc.co.uk, and we'll speak soon.